David, are we on? Good evening. Before we get started, I'd like to welcome Matt Marietta to lead us in an invocation.
Good evening. Let's pray. Great and merciful God, we come before you tonight asking that you give this council a spirit of wisdom, of charity and justice. In our deliberations, give us steadfast purpose to faithfully promote the well-being of the citizens of Milton and guide those who labor to make this a wonderful place. Strengthen our ties of mutual regard which form the bedrock of this republic. And through tonight's council meeting, with the support of all those who actively participate in the governing process, help us to promote unity and peace in our community. This I pray in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Matt. Okay, I'd like to call the regular meeting of the Milton City Council for Wednesday, January 22nd, 2020, not used to that yet, to order. The city strongly recommends that you review tonight's agenda carefully, and if you wish to speak on an item on the agenda, please bring your comment cards to the clerk as soon as possible. While the Milton rules allow a speaker to turn in comment cards up until the clerk calls the agenda item, once that agenda item is called, no more comment cards will be accepted. Again, our comment cards are to my left there, and our city clerk is to my right. Sudi, if you'll please call roll and make any announcements.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'll be happy to call roll for the January 22nd, 2020 regular meeting. I would like to remind those in attendance to please silence all cell phones at this time. Those attending the meeting who would like to make a public comment, you're required to complete a public comment card prior to speaking on that item. Your comment card must be presented to the city clerk prior to the agenda item being called. All speakers, please identify yourself by name, address, and organization before you begin your comment. If you are representing an organization, an affidavit is required stating you have the authority to speak on behalf of that organization. Please review tonight's agenda, and if you would like to make a comment, please bring your comment card to me now. Demonstration of any sort within the chamber is prohibited. Please refrain from any applause, cheering, booing outbursts, or dialogue with any person speaking. Anyone in violation will be asked to leave. As I call roll this evening, please confirm your attendance. Mayor Joe Lockwood.
Here.
Councilmember Peyton Jamison.
Here.
Councilmember Paul Moore.
Here.
Councilmember Laura Bentley.
Here.
Councilmember Joe Longoria.
Here.
Councilmember Rick Morick.
Here.
And Councilmember Carol Cookerly, for the record, is absent. Would everyone please rise for the Pledge of Allegiance?
Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Again, I want to welcome everybody here. Thank you for joining us tonight. Sudi, if you'll please call the next item, which is the agenda.
Our next item this evening is approval of the meeting agenda, agenda item number 20014.
Okay, I've got a couple of things I want to add. An executive session to discuss land acquisition, and also if we can move agenda item number 20-020, the consideration of a resolution appointing a member to the City of Milton Planning Commission by appointing a board member for District 3 Post 1 from new business to after public comment. Is there any other items on the agenda?
Mayor, we'll also need executive session for pending litigation.
Okay, so I would like to, on the agenda, add executive session for land acquisition along with the subject of pending litigation. So if there's no other changes, do I have a motion?
Mayor, I move that we approve the agenda as modified by you and with the addition of an executive session to address land acquisition and pending litigation.
Second.
Okay, got a motion and a second. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, our next item is public comment, general public comment. Do we have any public comment?
We do not, sir.
Okay. If we can move on to our first item.
This item we moved from new business, consideration of a resolution appointing a member to the City of Milton Planning Commission by appointing a board member for District 3, Post 1, agenda item number 20020. And I believe that's
Okay.
Councilmember
Yes, Member
Longoria.
Longoria.
So after 10 years, Chris Doty, who's been my appointee and been serving on the Planning Commission, doing very wonderful work there, has decided that his travel schedule doesn't match up with the meeting schedule anymore. And so I reached out to a neighbor of mine, Jan Jacobus. You guys may know Jan, to ask him to fill this position. Just want to say a couple of real quick things about Jan. Jan and I, number one, share a lot in common. First of all, he moved to Milton back in 1997, and he lives in the Crooked Creek subdivision, so we are neighbors. He worked for Abbott Laboratories for 32 years, but after a little bit of time on the golf course, he decided that he wanted to spend more time there as opposed to work, so he retired a couple of years later and has been focused on his golf game since then. He's married to a wonderful woman named Lisa. They have 3 children, William, Palmer, and Jacqueline, and 4 grandchildren, Keller, Collins, Kingston, and Alexander. He's a member of the Crooked Creek Homeowners Association, also serves on its board. He's the treasurer currently. He's been involved in the city as well for quite some time. He was one of the original graduates of the Milton Citizens Academy and also has attended the Citizens Police Academy. He also has served on the Milton Trails Committee. So he's no stranger to what we're doing here. So I'm pleased to nominate Jan as my representative on the Planning Commission.
Okay, sounds good. Do we have a motion?
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve Councilmember Longoria's appointee to the Planning Commission.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Bentley with a second from Councilmember Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous, City. Do we want to swear Jan in now? Is that
Yes.
okay? Jan, if you'd please step forward. If you'd raise your right hand and repeat after me. I do solemnly swear and affirm that I will faithfully perform the duties of as a member of the Planning Commission of this city, and that I will support and defend the charter thereof, as well as the Constitution and the laws of the state of Georgia and of the United States of America. Council, if you guys don't mind, we'll do a quick picture. Stepping up here. Everyone? One more. Thank you. And again, I always wanted to, thank everybody that steps up and helps. That's makes Milton special and a great place to live. So folks like yourself that are here enough to put some time and effort, but certainly doesn't go unnoticed, and it makes a big difference. I look forward. All right, appreciate it. Thanks. Okay, if we can move on to the consent agenda.
Our first item this evening under consent is the approval of a reciprocal facility use agreement between the City of Milton and the Porter Academy for the shared usage of Cox Road, agenda item number 20015. Next, approval of a temporary janitorial services agreement between the City of Milton and American Facilities Services, Inc., agenda item number 20016. Our third and final consent agenda item is approval of a master subscription agreement between the City of Milton and Granicus LLC, agenda item number 20017.
Okay, do I have a motion on the consent agenda?
Mr. Mayor, I'd like to make a motion that we approve the consent agenda as read.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Morgan. I believe I heard Councilmember Jameson first as the second. So I have a motion from Councilmember Morgan, a second from Councilmember Jameson. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That passes unanimous. Okay, we don't have any items under reports and presentations, so Sudi, if you'll please read out the first presentation item.
First item is consideration of an ordinance to amend Appendix A, Parks and Recreation Fees and Other Charges, Chapter 34, Section 24 of the Milton City Code, agenda item number 20018. Next, consideration of an ordinance to revise and update fees related to door-to-door salesmen, agenda item number 20019.
Okay, do I have a motion on the reading of the first presentation?
Mayor, I move that we accept the first presentation items as read by the city clerk.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion for approval from Councilmember Longoria with a second from Councilmember Moore. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous, Sudi. We don't have any items under a public hearing or zoning agenda or any unfinished business tonight, so we're going to move to new business. Sudi, if you'll please call new business item.
First item has been heard already. The next item, consideration of a resolution authorizing the retirement and sale of Police K-9 Cairo. Agenda item number 20021, Captain Sean McCarty.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. What you have before you tonight is a resolution. Our Police K-9 in Cairo, who has been in service with us since 2013, has been recommended to us by his vet that he retire due to some health issues. He's still fine as a dog, but not as a police dog. So the resolution is to retire him from service, and his K-9 handler has agreed to take care of him for the remainder of his life. So,
Okay, are there any questions on that?
thanks.
All right. I'll ask for a motion.
Mayor, I'd like to make a motion to approve agenda item number 20-021.
Okay. I have a motion for approval from Councilmember Bentley, a second from Councilmember Morrig. Just, want to say we want to thank Cairo for his service, and I'm glad he's staying in the family. So it's a great thing.
And it's my understanding that at the ceremony for the new officers that Cairo might be in attendance. Okay, awesome, because I'd like to see him one more time.
I just don't want to see him when he's working.
I think he's going to be fine.
Never mind. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay, Sudi, if you'll please sound the final new business item.
Our final item this evening is approval of a task order to provide a concept revision for Milton Greenway Connector PI 00150078, agenda item number 20022. Ms. Sarah Leaders.
There we go. Good evening, Mayor and Council.
Tonight, wanted to talk about the concept report and revision for Milton's connection to the Greenway. We've got a task order that's on the agenda that I'm going to go through what that's going to look like and what the previous work we've done on this project. So starting out, this project has a project identification number through Georgia DOT because it's got federal funding associated with it. In February of 2016, a previous version of this project went through a concept approval process with DOT. Since that time, additional funding has been authorized to the project, $400,000 in federal funding with a $100,000 local match, and they changed the project number when they programmed the next round of funding for the project. So since that time, the city had to go through a LAP, that stands for Local Administered Projects recertification process, where DOT authorizes the city to administer federal projects. Then in March of 2019, I did a presentation on discussion of the available funding and if there was interest to move forward. And at that time there was, so moved into consultant selection. Then on December 2nd, we brought a project framework agreement with DOT for approval. On January 6th, we brought the professional services agreement with the consultant we selected for the project. And then tonight we have the task order for that consultant to begin work on this project. Just wanted to highlight the planning history that's been done on trails, and this has always been an area of discussion over the last 13 years. You can see the timeline of when different plans were looked at. You can see in 2014 through 2016 is when the previous concept planning was done on the Greenway connection. Then looking back at what we did under the previous concept report, that was a partnership with Alpharetta and the North Fulton CID. They contributed to our local match for that. That was just a concept study. And then the image on the right shows the alignment that came out of that concept report. In addition, we looked at a few other connection alternatives, and I've put numbers on each one of these, and I'm going to talk about the other projects that are going on these roadways that impact where the alignment goes and play into the concept revision that we're looking at. So number one was the crossing over or under 400. We looked at both alternatives, and ultimately what came out of this study was a long-range project that could be both a vehicular and pedestrian connection over 400, approximately where Webb Road ends. This has been in the North Fulton Transportation Plan, but it is a longer range project. It doesn't have any identified funding. Project number two was looking at where Alpharetta was going to connect to Forsyth County, the Greenway in Forsyth County. The green line here on the right is where one of the options that they were looking at initially was, let's see, you all can see the arrow on the screen? Mm-hmm. Okay. So this is where the Greenway currently ends at Marconi Drive. So it was going to run up to Windward and then somehow connect over to Forsyth's section of the Greenway, which is where the black line begins. So if it was going to be the green line, we would have a better chance of connecting into it quicker. And what they're actually going to be doing is the dark blue line is their latest plan for their connection. Windward Parkway, the Windward Phase 2 is under construction right now. That's the turn lanes off of 400, the triple lefts that go all the way to Deerfield. And that is just putting back a sidewalk along Windward due to some of the constraints going under 400. So that project is underway right now. Number 4 was Webb Bridge Road, and that is in the path of the 400 managed lanes. This was just a screenshot from the video that DOT has posted showing a conceptual of what the managed lanes could look like. So that road has the potential to change. The bridge could change with that future project. Number 5 was the McGinnis Ferry Road interchange and McGinnis Ferry Road widening. And what we're looking at there is to tie into what Forsyth is already doing. As this cross-section shows, on the north side of the road, they're doing a 10-foot multi-use path starting at Bethany Bend, which is here, and then running all the way along McGinnis Ferry, and it'll tie into Ronald Reagan and then to the Greenway. Project 6 was our Morris Road widening T-Splosh project. We've only done a conceptual layout, but we're also looking at a 10-foot multi-use path on the, I guess that'd be the western or the northern side up to Bethany Bend that would tie into Forsyth. And this exhibit just shows how those two projects are gonna tie in together. And we're looking at the option of utilizing the culvert that'll be put in by the McGinnis project and running more of a boardwalk path for our multi-use connection. The Highway 9 widening is in the final design and right-of-way stage. It has the Bethany Bend realignment, and they're still working through exactly where there will be multi-use paths, but this one shows multi-use on both sides of 9. So in summary, wanted to take a step back, look at where the best connection is with all the projects that are planned, and what's the concept alternative we want to look at with this federal money. So the light green is the Forsyth Big Creek Greenway. There's a parking lot here. They already have a multi-use width connection down, I believe, Ronald Reagan to McGinnis Ferry. The orange is where Alpharetta's potential tie-in is going to be. The red is the limits of the McGinnis interchange. Purple is the Morris widening. Yellow is that long-range possible connection over 400. Blue, the 9 widening, and then a potential trail along Deerfield to connect in quicker. And the black is the Cogburn to Webb, and then eventually to Morris portion that we're looking to move forward with. So next steps, tonight we have the consideration of the task order approval. Then we would issue a notice to proceed for work on this concept revision. We'd update the layout, have a public information meeting. Then we've got to go through the GDOT revision approval of the concept report. And then we're looking for a task order to begin the preliminary plan stage late 2020. And these graphics here at the bottom show, because it's federal money, just an overview of the process that it takes to get through that. The first sheet is the concept process, which we'll be at by the end of this year, and then we'd move into preliminary plans and set a more definitive schedule once we get that concept finalized. So, any questions?
Any questions or comments for Sarah or any Rick?
So the task order that's before us is to actually approve the revision, start the concept plan revision.
Correct.
Okay. Thanks.
Okay. I will, if there's no other questions, I'll open up for a motion.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion that we approve agenda item 20-022, approval of a task order to provide concept revision for Milton Greenway connection.
Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Morrig with a second from Councilmember Jameson. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Okay. Next item is reports. Is there anything council had that they would like to report on? Laura?
I just wanted to make a comment. I know, I think several of us might have gotten an email from the accident this week that was on Bethany Way. and it looked terrible. And so I just wanted to reiterate our commitment to the citywide speed survey that we will be doing hopefully soon, and hopefully maybe even given a careful look at that stretch of road, because it connects to and there's some curves on there, and that's a great example of speed limit, in my opinion, that really needs to be dropped, because most of those driveways are lower and it's just really dangerous. So
Okay. And I think council may have been copied too on the chief was going to meet with the individuals and homeowners there.
and thank you for the speed sign that's out there. I passed that on the way over. I know that we have presence there, so that's very much appreciated.
Okay. Anybody else? All right, we'll move on to staff reports. Community development.
Just want to present some project updates from the department. Trail master plan update, so it's perfect segue after Sarah's presentation. The staff continues to work with the Trails Advisory Committee on updating the trail master plan. We are having our last Trail Advisory Committee meeting in the end of February next month, fourth week of February. And our goal will be to present the draft in front of the advisory committee and also for the community input in that committee meeting. We are planning to present the final draft to the City Council in the March work session, and hopefully for the City Council's adoption in the month of April. Working on the green space property signage and naming. As you know, as of November 2019, the city has acquired 7 green space properties containing approximately 400 acres of land that will be conserved. So the next phase of this project is to work with the community on naming of these green space properties, because we basically call them former Milton Country Club. We still call them Lackey Road, Cooper Sandy. Naming them and to work on the signage so that the community knows that these properties are being conserved through the green space bond and they can feel proud of their investment. So we are planning to work with the Green Space Advisory Committee on coming up with some naming options for the City Council to consider. We are going in front of the Milton Green Space Advisory Committee on January 27th. The Earth Day is in April. So our goal is by the Earth Day, we can propose some names to the City Council for their final naming. And then we can basically work with them on some signage design, so that we can basically say, like for T+ projects, we say that, okay, your bond dollars at work. So some sort of a conservation-oriented signage that basically says these green spaces are being conserved through the green space bond funds. Tree preservation ordinance, thank you for the City Council's feedback a few days back in the joint work session between the City Council and the Planning Commission. We are doing some in-house work. We are planning to send the final tree preservation ordinance for legal review by next month, by February. And hopefully we can come back in front of the City Council in the month of March or April. We still have till July to get this thing adopted, and I'm sure I will not come back to you for another extension. So this is moving forward. Census 2020, as you know, the staff is working towards this Milton Census 2020 with the goal of 100% response rate. We have designed a new logo for the Milton Census. We have a newsletter updates. We are reaching out to the community. Tomorrow we have a Census Complete Count Committee meeting at 6 o'clock over here. In that, we are trying to recruit new volunteers who want to participate in this Milton Complete Count Committee. Some zoning updates. Staff is working on 2 zoning applications. Number 1 is, as you know, is 15260 Hopeville Road. This is the country store. And the applicant is requesting to modify the site plan and to request to delete some of the conditions to permit an additional 19 parking spaces adjacent to the Thompson Road. The existing building will not be changed because it is one of the historically designated properties in the city of Milton. The CZIM meeting is on January 28th at 7 p.m. and it will come in front of the mayor and the city council on March 2nd at 6 p.m. The second application which we are looking at is the special use permit for the Ebenezer United Methodist Church, which is located at 12900 Arnold Mills Road. The applicant is requesting a use permit to construct approximately 24,000 square foot of activity center attached to the existing church, which is around 5,000 square foot. Again, the CZIM meeting for this special use permit is on January 28th at 7 p.m. It will go in front of the Design Review Board on February 4th, Planning Commission on February 26th, and it will come in front of the mayor and the city council on April 15th, 2020. These were some of the project updates. Any questions?
Okay, are there any questions? Okay, thank you, Rob.
Thank you.
Next is finance. Read that.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. I'm happy to report this evening that Finance was notified back in November that the city was granted the award for outstanding achievement in popular annual financial reporting by the Government Finance Officers Association for our first popular annual financial report for fiscal year 2018. And we'll talk about this at greater length during next week's State of the City event, but we're very excited to have received that award. Our current tax sale is scheduled for February 4th. We have not had to have a tax sale since 2012, so we're hopeful to resolve these last few properties over the next coming weeks before the tax sale so we can cancel that hopefully. Finance is currently working with our audit team, Malden and Jenkins, on our annual external audit. They'll be performing field work in-house over the next week or so, and then they will aid us in the preparation for our comprehensive annual financial report. And we will also prepare another popular annual financial report for fiscal year 2019 so our citizens can see where we ended up on the year. And then around March, you will also see any staff requests related to budget amendments requiring council authorization for fiscal year 2020. And other than that, business as usual.
Okay. Any questions? Okay.
Thank you very much.
All right. If I could get a motion to move into executive session to discuss land acquisition and pending litigation.
So moved. Second.
Okay, I have a motion from Councilmember Longoria, a second from Councilmember Morig. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. If we could move into executive session. That's unanimous, and that will conclude tonight's meeting. So do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second. I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous again.
Hey, Mayor? You did the first one again? The mics weren't good. Thank you.
Okay, a motion to reconvene, I believe.
So moved.
Second.
All right, I have a motion and a second to reconvene. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous, and we just did that for the record, to clarify that on the record. Then we've already got a motion and a second to adjourn. Do I have a motion? I'll do it again. Do I have a motion to adjourn?
Motion to adjourn.
Second.
I have a motion and a second to adjourn. All in favor, please say aye.
Aye.
That's unanimous. Thank you.
Thank you.
I'll see you then.
Yeah.
So you said Donna Will is going?
No, I'll talk to her.
What was the little note you wrote?
Oh, yeah, I've seen that.